basically, it is about you not being able to see a painting. Normally you get to see a painting and you stand in front of it, the light is perfect, doesn't change. Now I'm taking that away, so you only get to see it for 1/100th of a second, randomly, so you don't know when it's really going to happen. And your eyes have a hard time adjusting to that flash. So the painting actually doesn't change, but the experience physically in your eyes makes you experience the painting different. Different colors comes in and start floating on the walls. It goes white, black, pink, all these different colors. So the painting becomes charged differently than it would be if it's just hanging on the wall with perfect lighting. So I'm taking away some of it, but giving you a different experience of what painting can also be, or the experience of light. Because painting without light, you just don't see. Painting needs light in order to be seen, which is different than other technology, which is backlit, or it's a video projection. You can still enter in a dark room and see that, but this, when it's dark, it's dark. So to me, it's a silent spectacle. It's a spectacle what's happening on the painting itself, to which you can't really experience it because you don't have enough time.
So the idea came from here, kind of?
I think so, yeah, working with light and what does light mean to painting itself? Like how do we as painters use light? And then I was getting more and more interested in the actual physicality of artificial light, both in the lights in the stadium, but also when it's projected. So they turn on over time. That's about 48 minutes, that's 37 minutes, and the lights warm up, so it starts doing different things.
So to be able to see the whole changes is how long you have to be standing on?
Yeah, that's kind of, it's a timepiece, so it loops, so whenever you come in, they might already be on or not. Okay. If you choose to do so, you can sit out to 48 minutes on this one. They go on after about 35, 36 minutes, and then something quite interesting happens. But then the loop behind this has nothing to do with stadium lights. It's a small 7-minute section of a ship just passing on the horizon at night, and then it loops back to the lights. And that ties into the paintings, which are also about stadium lights. And there's a ship in there, one of the paintings as well. So it has a lot to do with light and crowds, but also what it means to be an individual in relation to a crowd. And when there's a flashpoint when something changes, the crowd goes one way or another direction. It could become violent or not. And how do you respond to it if you're inside of that? But here, you don't know what's going on in the stadium. It's very quiet. You don't know what the light is exposing.
Yeah, no. So, how long the show is going to be up? People are going to be able to see the whole thing? Like if they come and... Oh, it will be in different stages that you don't...
It would be, yeah. And I mean, it'd be really nice if someone makes the decision to stand here for that long, because you can really... In the beginning, there's all these beautiful clouds behind it. It became grayer. And eventually, the lights really slowly go on. But in your eye, when you look at the lights, they go on. But the camera sees this really slow warming up of the gases which are in it, and then it starts pulsating, which your eye doesn't see. So it's really a manipulation of how your eyes physically work in relation to technology. And that's the same in the light where the strobe is. Like it's that technology which makes you look at something completely different. If it's a physical object as a painting, you're different, your eyes just see it directly. Now there's something in between. And I think that's what with painting happens as well. People just not realize that there's always something in between the experience and the actual piece. And what that in between is, I'm not sure. But it's interesting to kind of try to touch on it. And the poetic comes up a lot as a word, but it's something I feel is just present in the works itself. It's just there. But you can't quite put your finger on it, and that's what I really like. So that seems to be present in all of these pieces to me. I just think it's there. But But yeah, just the fact that it almost looks like the northern lights. Like your eye doesn't see that when you're standing there. And it has a certain beauty to it, which you can only become aware of because it has been filmed on. In that case, it was just standard definition. Start seeing that they're actually still active, that pulsing, but your eye doesn't see that when you're outside. It just doesn't see that at all.
So these are real lights?
Yeah.
You just filmed and you didn't change anything?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's the same with that. You just set up the camera, point at the lights, and have it run. That's basically it.
Wow.
Almost like it breathing. I didn't expect that, but since it happened, I really embrace it. It's quite beautiful.
Look like they are alive, no? Like they are living things there. So did you leave the camera there, or you were there in front of seeing the whole thing?
I was there to look at it, but I basically had the tripod up, put the camera on it, and stepped away from it as well because I didn't want to disturb any, no movement or anything. So I observed it as well, but at a certain point, you just can't look at the light anymore. It's just, it doesn't work for your eyes.
So when you saw the video, it's like, wow.
Yeah, well, I started seeing it in this little screen already, but it was so small. I'm like, I'm not sure. And then, as soon as I got it onto the computer, I'm like, yes, I'm very glad that happened. You want me to forward to the second piece behind you?
Sure, please.
You can really see it when you speed it up there. And the lights are still being filled, but it's in dark. So this is the piece after that. This is also, it also has a lot to do with time and the experience of seeing things through technology.
That's kind of the ocean over there? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's what's happening basically. It's just a ship passing, that's it. But it's right at it was raining. So at one point it starts raining a lot harder and it darkens everything up. It's not the camera closing down because that was all set at the same aperture.
we'll stop here.
If you have the first frame and the last frame, you really see how quickly it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.